The other psyop that's going on, the other turnaround is fair play, is this thing about Trump is not going to accept the results of the upcoming election. By the way, right now, my opinion is the election is a toss-up. I think if it was held today, Trump would lose. But I think it's a toss-up. I think we may have reached peak Biden. I'm not sure. Can't see the future any more than anybody else. But I'm just saying right now, I think this is very close. So Chris Wallace, in that really sloppy interview he did with Trump, asked him about this. And let's just put that forward.
Are you suggesting that you might not accept the results of the election?
I have to see. Look, Hillary Clinton asked me the same thing.
No, I asked you the same thing in the debate.
I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris.
And you know what? She's the one that never accepted it.
I agree.
She never accepted her loss, and she looks like a fool.
Can you give a direct answer? You will accept the election?
I have to see. Look, I have to see. No, I'm not going to just say yes. I'm not going to say no. And I didn't last time either.
And the people treat that. Remember, this is what Hillary Clinton said was horrifying. Just before Barack Obama unleashed a completely unjustified FBI investigation, Hillary Clinton is still saying now that, he won't accept it. And Pelosi is selling this too. Nancy Pelosi is saying, we're going to have to chase him out of the White House.
The fact is, whether he knows it yet or not, he will be leaving. Just because he might not want to move out of the White House doesn't mean we won't have an inauguration ceremony to inaugurate a duly elected president of the United States. And I'm second in line to the presidency. And just last week, I had my regular continuation of government briefing. This might interest you because I say to them, this is never going to happen. God willing, it never will. But there is a process. It has nothing to do with if the certain occupant of the White House doesn't feel like moving and has to be fumigated out of there, because the presidency is the presidency. It's not geography or location.
This is a psyop. We're supposed to believe that Trump is the danger. After 3 years, now we see these documents. We see that the FBI was absolutely aware that the Steele dossier that they used as a reason to investigate Trump and to bug his people and to follow them around and to spy on his campaign. They knew right away that this was a nonsense. It was a slow motion coup attempt. I hate to use those kind of dramatic terms, but that's really what it was. And now they're talking about the fact that Trump won't accept the election. This is insane. It's amazing. Plus, we also know, we've seen Chicago, we've seen Philadelphia. We know what the Democrat Party does with votes. We know that they are prone, to put it politely, to let dead people and their pets vote. I never minded the dead people so much. It's like a little bit of traditional wisdom in the voting booth. But when you let them bring their pets, it just gets to be Stephen King. I think that the dead pets voting for people is a little bit too far. So meanwhile, this is part of this. Joe Biden, this is according to Politico, Joe Biden has released his most comprehensive statement yet, warning against foreign election interference and threatening to hold the Kremlin and other foreign governments accountable for any meddling if he is elected president. In the 700-word statement obtained by Politico, the presumptive Democrat nominee said he will treat foreign interference on our election as an adversarial act that significantly affects the relationship between the United States and the interfering nation's government. And it is funny because when you think about what, for instance, Putin wants out of America, Putin doesn't care who's president. Putin has been jammed up really good by Trump. Trump has really jammed Putin. The fact that he has allowed us to produce the energy that we produce, Putin is running an oil a petro dictatorship. That's where all his money comes from. If we start dealing with Europe and Europe starts dealing with us instead of with them, that's going to cost him everything. That's going to cost his power. Trump has equipped the Ukrainian rebels with missiles that Obama wouldn't do, and yet we keep talking about this, as if it were a big success for Putin that Trump were in office. The big success for Putin is the fact that they impeached Trump. The big success for Putin is the fact that we tore each other apart for 3 years over an absolutely bogus Russian hoax. Do we have Biden talking about this, talking about the election interference? Play that.
We've 10,000 people have volunteered. We're going to try to get them plugged in as poll workers, not for us, but running the mechanisms in the states that they work for the state operations. Because last time, I don't want this excuse that the reason why we closed down, I'm making the number up. There are 30 polling places in a predominantly minority neighborhood, but now there's only 5 because we don't have enough poll workers. So we're doing everything we possibly can.
So Joe Biden says he's got 10,000 volunteers who are going to be working the polls, but it's Trump who's stealing the election. All right, I'm following this, and I just obey. I no longer question the information that comes to me anymore. I just obey. Victor Davis Hanson has a column in American Greatness, and it's a really interesting column. And a lot of times I don't read columns that predict what's going to happen. But I think that there is something here with this. Donald Trump talked about Joe Biden's insufficiencies on this Chris Wallace interview. And just introduce the VDH column. Let's talk about that. Let's play that first.
Let him come out of his basement, go around. I'll make 4 or 5 speeches a day. I'll be interviewed by you. I'll be interviewed by the worst killers that hate my guts. They hate my guts. There's nothing they can ask me that I won't give them a proper answer to. Some people will like it. Some people won't like it.
I agree with that.
But look,
answer the
let
questions.
Biden sit through an interview like this. He'll be on the ground crying for mommy. He'll say, mommy, please take me home.
Well, we've asked him for an interview, sir.
He can't do an interview. He's incompetent.
I'm sorry. That's good Trump for me. That's always the Trump I like.